Hey, man, what's going on? Coach Free here. Check this out. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Today, we're going to have a little short discussion about thoughts, right? According to the National Science Foundation, the average human has anywhere between 12 to 60,000 thoughts a day, right? 12,000 to 60,000 thoughts a day. That's a lot of thoughts. That's a lot of data. That's a lot of information being run through your brain, right? Going on in your brain. There's a lot going on there. But here's the thing about that is they also say that 80% of those thoughts are negative. And the way I can get it, I can kind of get it, I can kind of understand it because we have what we call a default mode of, of protection, right? And it's there to help protect us or whatever the case is. Like if somebody walk up to you and say, "Hey, how you doing?" and you don't know them, then the first thing you probably gonna think is, "Oh, they're trying to sell me something," whatever the case is. So you get defensive, you get negative, right? You already started the negative process. So of thought, but that's just a default mode that we have. That's kind of like a protective, primitive state of thinking, right? But 80% of our thoughts are negative, right? And also 95% of our total thoughts are reoccurring, right? There are thoughts that are always there. The same, you think in the same way, which is also what we call our default mode, which is part of the default mode is these reoccurring thoughts. And so that means, most of your thoughts through the day are negative, unless you've gone through some type of specific training, for as positive thought thinking training, as far as, just some training, personal training we're going through, as far as trying to, spiritual training, as far as, trying to get yourself to stay in a positive state, positive thoughts, right? And positive energy, right? And then, so therefore, the numbers will also, though that 80% of negative thoughts will decrease because you've gone through some type of training and you allowed yourself to capture the negative thoughts and, reframe the thought or to get rid of the thought. And we'll get into that a little bit later. But, right now, I just need you to understand that one, you have a lot of thoughts that go on through your brain every day, right? For anywhere between 12 to 60,000 thoughts a day. Out of those thoughts, 80% of them, right, is negative. So here's the thing about negative energy, right? Negative thoughts. Thoughts are energy. Negative energy destroys. Just like if you take the human body and you have what we call free radicals, right? Free radicals are throughout your body and they're destroying tissue, right? They're destroying human cells. They also have the ability to destroy your DNA cells, right? Because, it's just negative energy floating around, just zapping everything and destroying everything. So that's how negative energy, that's how negative thoughts are in your head, right? You think that, oh, you're negative because of whatever, but actually you're destroying, parts of your brain. You're destroying parts of, parts of you that you may need later on, just by not capturing these negative thoughts and reframing these negative thoughts or getting rid of these negative thoughts. Now, how do you get rid of negative thoughts? First thing first, right? Okay, you're not going to sit back. You need a piece of paper. Okay, well, first you need a piece of paper and a pen, right? Or a piece of paper and a pencil, whatever, right? And you need to, what we call journal, but you want to take some of these thoughts every day. You want to take some of these thoughts out of your head and you want to put it on paper, right? You want to take these thoughts, some of these negative thoughts, some of these positive thoughts, or whatever thoughts, and you just want to get them down on paper, right? Because you can't, I'm a firm believer that you can't really evaluate a thought if it's up here, right? If it's in here, if it's inside of here, you can't really evaluate that thought because you can't see the thought, right? And though that thought is connected, that thought is sitting right there next to where your emotions are, right? It's in the same vicinity of your emotions or where your emotions generate from. So you have to get these thoughts out of your head and put them on paper, right? And the reason you want to put them on paper is because now you can see them for what they are, right? And make and evaluate those thoughts. Are those thoughts serving you? How are they serving you? Are they serving you in a good way? Or are they serving you in a bad way? Right? If I have a thought that I'm not good enough, and I write that down, now I evaluate that thought. Am I? Right? If somebody else is doing it, what makes them better than me? Oh, because they got more money? That makes them better than me? No. Because they're higher on a spiritual pole of, you know what I'm saying? That makes them better than me? No. Right? So I have to evaluate that thought. If I have a thought that, oh, I'm broke, right? I have to really evaluate that thought. Am I really broke? Right? I may not have the amount of money that I want or that I need right now, but am I really broke? My lights are on, my car note's paid, my rent is, my mortgage is paid, right? All of these things are done, but am I really broke? Right? When it comes to relationships, am I really broken? Right? You know what I'm saying? That's one thing I wish people would stop saying, is that you're broken. You're not broken. You might be cracked, but you're not broken, right? The only person that can break you is you, right? If you feel like you're broken, it's because you're allowing yourself to be broken. You might crack my ego. You might crack, you know what I'm saying, how I feel. You might crack whatever, right? Because I allowed you to do that, to get close to me like that, or I allowed you to be that part of me, but I'm not broken. That's not happening, right? So I wish people would stop saying that. But back to thoughts, right? Thoughts, you have to get these thoughts out of your head, right? Because they're in this little bitty box up here. They're up here. They're in this box called your brain, right? Your skull. They're in there. And they're trying to generate, or they could be in your heart, or they could be in your gut. But we'll get into that later too. But anyway, these thoughts are in some type of confinement. They can't get out of there, right? The only way they get out of there is you come out of your default mode and you go into action on that thought, right? Your default mode is where these thoughts are generating or reoccurring, right? And they'll just stay there until you come out of your default mode of thinking it and taking action on it, right? The Bible even says, you know what I'm saying, prayer without action is dead. It's just, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, if you got a thought and you're not acting on that thought, then it's just a thought, right? And it's just reoccurring, irritating you because you haven't took action on that thought. But anyway, you have to get to a point that you write these thoughts down, and you have to get to a point that you evaluate the thought. Honestly, evaluate the thought. Now, here's the thing. If you find that you're one of those people that are constantly having negative thoughts, right? You wake up in the morning, you're negative throughout the day, negative here, negative there, your children, you're negative, your husband, your wife, or whatever, you're negative. When it gets to work, you're negative. When you're driving to work, you're negative. When you stop to get gas, you're negative. When you stop to get something to eat, you're negative. Everything is negative. You need to check yourself because you may be at that point of anxiety or depression, right? You may be, and it's a disorder, right? So you have to get help. So you may need help with that. If you notice that you are one of those people with a bunch of negative thoughts, just constant negative thinking. Now, one thing that I will say, and I know people are probably going to say something about it, but for us guys with, military cast with PTSD, negative thoughts seem to be, because of the paranoia, because of, whatever, negative thoughts seems to be a part of that, just having negative thoughts. And if you don't capture these thoughts and reevaluate these thoughts, then they will get the best of you, right? And they will get the best of your life, and they will get the best of the loved one, the people that you love, because you're just putting this negative energy out everywhere you go. You're just spewing negative energy. And so it starts to rub off on your kids. It starts to rub off in your relationship, not just your relationship with your spouse, but with your friends and with others, right? You find yourself by yourself because of you, right? And then later on, you try to figure out like, well, everybody left me. Why ain't nobody messing with me? My kids don't mess with me. My wife, she stays away from me, right? My friends I thought I had are not dealing with me, right? You have to evaluate your thoughts. Quit looking at everybody else and start evaluating your thoughts. And, get these thoughts out of your head. so that you can see them. You can't fix what you cannot see, right? You can't. So you have to get these thoughts out of your head. You have to get them down on paper. You have to go through a process of honest evaluation of these thoughts, and get rid of the thoughts that don't serve you. You know what? That's not serving me. That's making me depressed, right? Get rid of that thought. How do I get rid of it? You go through a process. There's a process that you got to go through, but you got to start going through that, getting rid of that thought. You replace that thought with a positive thought. You replace that thought with a thought that is going to serve you, right? Now, here's the thing. You can't just have these thoughts, whether they're good thoughts or bad thoughts. You can't just have them, right? You have to act on these thoughts, right? Thoughts just want to exist. Thoughts are energy. Thoughts are energy that want to exist, right? They want to be a part of reality. They want to be a part of reality. So as long as you're not, you're just thinking the thought, right, of being rich, you're thinking the thought of losing weight, you're thinking the thought of making more money, you're thinking it, right? But you're not acting on it, then that's going to cause a problem later on. That's going to cause a problem, because now your head is just filled with all of these reoccurring thoughts, negative reoccurring thoughts, or these thoughts of things that you desire that you are not in pursuit of. Most people say that, oh, I can't sleep at night. I can't sleep at night. Check your status, check your thought status, right? To see if there are thoughts that are there that you can act on, right? That you can act on that you're not acting on, or thoughts there that you need to get rid of. That right there alone will keep you awake at night. Somebody, you won't be able to sleep, because your thought process, right, when you're trying to sleep, your brain is running 100 miles an hour, because you got so many reoccurring thoughts, or so many new thoughts in your brain, that you can't sleep, because your brain won't let you sleep. These thoughts won't let you sleep until you act on them, right? Thoughts are energy that want to exist or be gotten rid of, proven that it's not of value to you, right? You got to prove that that thought is not of value to you, or it's something you're going to act on, something you're going to generate a game plan to accomplish, right? Whatever that thought is, whether it's business, whether it's your relationship with family, whether it's, your career, whether it's whatever, your eating habits, whether it's, losing weight, maybe it's gaining weight, who knows? But whatever that thought is, right, you have to get it out of your default mode of thinking, right, and go into action on that thought. Because if you don't, right, it will keep you awake at night, because it wants to exist. All of these different thoughts want to exist. I know a young lady, she wants to write a book. She wants to do a podcast. She wants to do this. She wants to do that. She wants to do all of these different things, but she's not acting on anything. And then she's trying to figure out why she can't sleep at night, because your brain is saying, hey, we're doing this, what we're doing, right? So she can't sleep at night. But once I talked to her and I got her to write all this stuff down, I got her to go through a process of generating a plan, and then we get into the full brain action, where you can imagine all of this good stuff, right? As far as doing a podcast, doing this and doing that and doing this, but none of it will count until you take action, until you go into action, until you start writing it down, getting the numbers. What is it going to take for me to do this? How long is it going to take me to do this? The who, what, when, where, how, and why comes into effect until you go, because your left brain needs the who, what, when, where, why, and how. It needs that. If not, then it's like that side of the brain is constantly going to try to figure it out. It's going to constantly try to figure out the who, what, when, where, why, and how of whatever you just thought about over here in your right brain. Whatever you thought about doing in your right brain, the left brain needs to know the logic. Why are we doing this? You know what I'm talking about? Okay, what is it for? Right? Your left brain needs to know these things. If it doesn't, then your brain is going to constantly keep working, keep grinding, right? Trying to figure it out. But if you go through a process of figuring it out yourself, you know that this is a thought. You know that thought is going to keep living or keep worrying you until you act on it. Now you got to go through a process of creating a plan, right? Hey, this is how we're going to do it. This is how long it's going to take for me to do it. You got to go through that process, or your brain will keep you up at night. All right. Check it out. I didn't mean to stay that long, but check it out. Coach Free. Love each and every last one of y'all, man. If y'all got any questions about anything I just said, hey, hit me up. Call me. If you need help with anything that I just talked about, call me. Get in contact with me. Let's make it happen, man. Peace.